Hello and welcome along to another end of season review from this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 95 of the Tudor Times today. We're back to review season 11. Remarkably, our second in the Premier League and a really solid year. Signings making a big difference, the squad starting to come together, and off the pitch we're improving massively. And if you missed last time out, we even had our first youth intake start to take a look at. So today we're going to do a few things. We're going to do the usual end of season review, the regular one in game. We're going to have a look at some of the facilities we want to improve off the pitch. We're going to have a look at the youth teams and the development because of course we've got a youth star now and a few of you have requested to see how they're doing in terms of the leagues. And we're also going to prepare our squad for the summer transfer window. We are to the stage now where instead of big overhauls to try and become a Premier League side, we're in that sort of which 2 or 3 positions do we need to substantially upgrade each year. And that's where we are at the moment. So if you're looking forward to that, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments as we go along if you agree with my decisions for the summer. We will briefly touch on tactics as well, given the experiment in the last episode. And if you want to stay up to date, see how the summer goes, transfer special in 2 days' time, deadline day in 4 days' time. It's a big finish to the week in this save. You can subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to stay up to date with that. We had transfer deadline day yesterday in the head coach and a transfer special just before that. So it's been a big week across the 2 saves. But if that's not enough, there's also links in the eye above to the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular content. You can support the channel down below if you wish to by clicking the join button. And a massive thank you as always for your incredible support. It is greatly appreciated. As we get going, from exactly where we were at the end of the last episode, you can see I haven't even gone and praised McNeil for his performance yet. My initial priority is to get to the end of season review, but also to try and request a few things from the board. Let's see how it pans out. Back in a moment with news. Well, we don't even get to the season review for the first one. The training facilities, which are superb already, are getting another upgrade. Does that mean they become state of the art? We might have the best possible ones there. That will be completed in November. We can't improve the youth facilities because the youth level's getting an upgrade, but I have requested an improved youth recruitment. We'll see if that pans out, and in a moment we'll have our end of year review. And here it is, no trophy but progress. We reach an FA Cup quarter final, we progress in the league and get a little more comfortable, and of course the squad is improving massively. This is the first year where we've made significant progress without relying on Ricky J. Jones. He came in and was the key part of that back-to-back promotion. He was so important to how we did in the Championship, and he was crucial last season too. But this year, the mantle has been taken by the star signing, Mario Ricca. How good a deal will 2.6 million prove to be in the future? What a player he is, honestly. Neskovic played well as a sub-keeper. Foyani did alright, but only really played in cup games. Will Lancashire, really solid addition, possibly not the man to take us forward long term. Same for Thornhill. Cordes scored a couple of absolute screamers this year, just can't stay fit unfortunately. Arthur Ndu for 20 million was so important in the middle of the pitch, really good signing him. Danilo Jose, C striker, wonder kids coming in for the future. Mayer as well falls into that category. And then Kaplan and Panjkovic, solid additions to the squad in midfield and starting to give us that Premier League depth. That's exactly what we need. When you then consider the players that have gone out, Kamari Doyle, Camoy Richardson, Callon Hazeman, Adam Doyle, Jamie McKenzie, Leo Huber even at Bournemouth, Daniel Georgie behind that, you start to see, when it's put you like that, just how much we've improved this squad in the last couple of years, because they're not even in the same stratosphere, the quality of players. And in some of those areas, we've actually made a profit as well. Cordes for 3, sold Doyle for 4 million, Richardson 6 million, Huber 6 million. I know the midfielders were a bit more expensive, but still good deals. Jesus Garcia, 1.6 million sale. We've got to sell on as well. And we've bought in quality defenders in the place. Mayer, only 1.9 million. It's hardly a big fee, is it? So brilliant recruitment continues to be the key to our success. And that success is not just scraping survival. Is not being lucky that the point totals below were low. It's the fact that we're on 46 points, 3 points off the top half, selling out the stadium every week, albeit a small one, and really looking like a Premier League side. We had some poor runs, we had some difficult spells, but we've never gone sort of 10, 12, 13, 14 games without getting something. We've always picked up a result, like you can see there. A little win every 5 or 6 games to just keep things ticking along nicely. The FA Cup was a shame. We beat Manchester United in the 5th round, then lost to Chelsea in the quarters in a draw that did really open up. And the Carabao Cup, look, maybe we can have a run at it in the future, but we didn't have a strong enough squad at the start of this season to do so. Our biggest win was a 5-1 in the Premier League against Sheffield United. We of course drew the reverse fixture in the last episode. A 4-0 win against Brighton, the match to remember in the League Cup. It was a good game, but not that important. I would say maybe the FA Cup win against United is a more likely one there. Newcastle beat us 4-2, but that's where goal of the season came. Did we see that on camera? I mean, Cordes scored screamers galore, but I feel like we saw a few of them, so maybe that was one. Let's get through the finances though. The club reputation stays at 3-star. I really thought this might be the year it crept up. But I guess the players we're bringing in, they're not established stars. They're not improving our reputation. We're more improving theirs at the minute. Sponsorship up, broadcast revenue will be up come the end of the season. Prize money and everything else grows too. Ricker is now the star in the shirt sales. And Ricky J. Jones is not even in the top 5. That shows you how important the signings are. Because a lot of those midfielders that we've bought in from other countries and other leagues in terms of undo are becoming the men that the fans want to see every week. So let's see how we lined up this season. Christian Flores in the middle there, that's a surprise to me. McNeil up front, I could give or take. And at the back, Young at right back, maybe a slight surprise, but striker only there half a year. Jose didn't play a lot of football and Young does want to leave the club now. So a lot of work going to be done in the summer. In terms of accolades, nothing for us. But Mario Ricker, almost a clean sweep. Cordes wins goal of the year. Ricky J. Jones still got the most player in the match awards, but injuries really starting to cost him. We broke our transfer record again for C striker. We did it for Ndu in the summer, then striker in January. Highest sale is Camoy Richardson, nearly 6 million at the start of the year. That one, of course, didn't go through until January. Ian Watts became the youngest player and our first youth intake star. Ricky J. Jones increases his lead as the record league goal scorer for the football club. Will Mario Ricker catch him before the end of the save? That's the next big question. And Will Lancashire broke the record for most goals in a match. Must be joint because someone's got to have scored 4 in a game before. Not even Ricky apparently. But there's the end of season review. Progress as we finish in a record high position. What are the expectations for next season? Are we finally going to be expected to survive outright? We're not. We've got to fight bravely again. We've got 2 years left on a contract. We need a new one soon. But what's happening with the stadium? That's what I want to know. The board's saying it's part of the club culture. Well, I can't control that, so you can't judge me on it. Let's pick a nice cheap training camp destination, or do we want to build the brand now? No, I'm going to go to Scotland, because that's the best way to stay humble. Let's go and have a look at our squad. Let's go and have a look off the pitch. And of course, we'll glance at the youth teams too, as a few of you have requested. And we'll actually start with that because there's a little bit of frustration on my part. We got the under-23 squad last summer, but we didn't get the option to compete in a league. So we've not really been playing fixtures. We had the EFL trophy, which we lost all 3 games, which maybe proves we weren't ready. But there isn't actually a squad that's playing in a league there, which makes it a bit frustrating because we want to get some of our young players football, and particularly some of the fringe players in the squad here at the moment. They need to be playing competitive games each week, and that just isn't happening here. In terms of the 18s, though, we're doing a little bit better. It's hard because we've not really had great youth players before. We've not had a great setup, but they're in the Division 3 South East, and they've had a really strong year. So I'd imagine we've probably won that. We haven't. We've lost to Bromley, who are our feeder club, by 5 points. So that's where we need to get out of at the moment. And as the facilities improve, as Watts will probably drop back into the 18s a lot more next year, we will start to see that develop. And with a striker like him, that 5 points difference will be gone very quickly. But there are some good sides with good youth setups in there. So that's the youth teams at the moment. Getting better, but not quite there yet. And obviously the youth level and the facilities is still playing catch up a bit. What we are going to do, though, is continue to improve off the pitch. I've shown you the facilities recently, how they're improving. Everything's getting there at the moment. We just need the stadium from a revenue point of view, and we need the youth facilities to go up. The youth level is increasing. That will be 3 next year. Hopefully then we can get the youth facilities up to good. We can get the recruitment up further. We've requested that at the start of this episode. And then we can really start to think about being a top Premier League club. Let's go and have a look at the squad though to see what we want to achieve next season, because The key for us at the moment until we get that stadium is to make sure we're still a Premier League club. We can't do the massive level of investment we're seeing elsewhere. But equally, we've got to find a way of staying safe and staying comfortable and still keeping these young stars enthused to be at the club. Now, one of the things you'll notice at the moment is we've got a very young squad. A couple of players in their late 20s and a little bit of experience in there. But most of it is up to 24 and 25, basically, isn't it? So we've got a young core and a base to work with. I am tempted to just look for maybe 1 or 2 dots of experience around, maybe as free agents, maybe as loan deals, just to try and give us a little bit of stability. And I don't want to take too much of that youthful exuberance out of the side. If you look at players like John Moore, who are improving incredibly, the personalities are great. It's just about giving them football until they reach their peak, isn't it? We've got wonder kids galore at the back. Maya is a wonder kid. He's had a brilliant season. Hanifan, a wonder kid. He's finally improving and becoming consistent. Kay Striker, another one of those who we signed in January. Wonder kid, played well at right back, can be brilliant at centre half too. Danilo Jose, 18 years of age, already played 23 Premier League matches, has been wonderful for us, just needs to improve a bit more defensively. Ryan Young, I think, wants to go, and it might well be a summer for it. But Josh O'Brien, that bit of experience at the back as a squad player. But now I'd love to keep, but he wants to go, he's unhappy, and he wants to move when his minimum fee release is matched, and the offers are only 2 or 3 million away from that. It is actually my biggest worry for the summer. If we look at some of these contracts, Hanafan's got a release clause of 31 million. Jose Maya has got a release clause of 27 million to clubs in the Champions League. I think Striker had one as well, actually. Yeah, his is 67 million. But there is a risk that 2 or 3 of our players could just be taken like that. And then we're left going back to square one. What I do want to do this summer, though, we look at areas where we need to improve each year. And I feel fullback is a weakness now. Albi Armin is 28, one of the oldest in the squad. Thornhill's not good enough to be a backup. And let me just say this. He's rock solid. He's proven himself as a Premier League left back. But he's not quite the top level player we need now. And if he can become a backup for this side in the next couple of seasons, then perhaps with a star left back running down the wing, someone who's natural as a wing back too, thinking about our experiments for the future, then maybe that will be the thing to take us to the next level. Same on the right till Jose develops. Sell Ryan Young, get a big replacement in, and then Striker can focus on being a centre half. Thornhill can move on. It's just not good enough for this level. Into midfield, we've got a really solid squad. I'd expect Burnell to be going in the summer. We need that big, tall, commanding centre mid like Scott Egan was. In midfield, though, we've made most of our upgrades. And Du's quality. Moreira was a wonder kid, has just turned 21, is absolutely exceptional. And then behind that, the likes of Kaplan, Panjkovic, Flores, it's a really solid squad. I don't feel we need a huge amount in midfield. We've got in a number 10 role Cordes who can't stay fit, but McNeil's always done well when he's come in. I just wonder if maybe we need an upgrade in that 10 role. Someone who can really be a standout performer. And then up front, we've done most of our work, but we need one partner for Ricker. If we can get a quality poacher, target man, whatever it is, alongside this guy, we're going to have a very fun season next year. Voyani's loan will end. Lancashire can be sold or kept as a backup. Ricky, much the same. All I need is a superstar like Ricker. And if we can find another one for 3 million quid, even if it's slightly older, because Watts eventually will get to that level, then I think we'll have a squad next season where we can really start to look upwards rather than at the relegation zone. But in terms of the recruitment we have done, we've improved the squad consistently. We're going to get there eventually. It is going to be a slower and more frustrating process while we wait for the stadium, the facilities and everything else to catch up. But Hemel Hempstead Town are making progress that we didn't expect to make. This is roughly the point of the save where we expected to get to the Premier League. The fact we're here and settled after 2 years with 4 or 5 wonder kids and young stars at the club, it's basically a dream, isn't it? We've even got our first youth intake star now, and he's going to be firing that under-18 side next year whilst getting the odd appearance for us in the Cups. I don't think we could expect to be in any better position 11 years into this save. What we are going to do, though, before we get into the summer, where I'm sure other clubs will improve, is just skip ahead because we haven't got our messages yet about whether the youth recruitment upgrade is going to be accepted or whether there's any news on the stadium. Now, last season, that came about a day or two after these sorts of messages and the end of year review. So I just want to skip ahead and see if we get anything. In terms of the season review, we saw it was brilliant. Let's accept our club vision. We know we're going to fight bravely against relegation, and I'm pretty sure we'll survive. We'll get through the end of season team meeting off camera. We'll get through the staff meeting off camera. We'll be back in a minute if we have any news regarding upgrades off the pitch at Hemel Hempstead Town. Sorry, I've got distracted on my way. I've just got to show you this. Marco Cordes, 6 injuries this season. Longest spell was 4 weeks, but missed a quarter of the season. So that tells you why we need a number 10. But we've improved the medical and scouting team. We're doing pretty well on that front. So now, let's see if we can get the upgrades to facilities. Well. We waited a couple of hours again, and we have got a sea of important messages that all look very good. Firstly, £56.5 million awarded in transfer budgets, 600 grand in wages. How is that to our normal one at the moment? It is about the same actually, so that hasn't really changed. But 50 million to get a few players out the club and potentially bring in another few wonder kids or squad players to help us out. Gives us the platform to be able to survive consistently. But that isn't the most important thing here. Neither is being granted an improved youth category. It's gone up from category 4 to 3. The annual cost will be 3.5 million. But does that mean I can now request new facilities? No, I can't. So let's request an improved youth category. We'll wait and see what the decision is. But the most important thing, the board have announced that new stadium plans will go ahead. Please let it be in Hemel Hempstead. Please let it be the 25,000 at least that you initially confirmed. Don't be bad. It is. Excellent. Now there are a couple of issues. 3 years to build, rather than the usual 2 we've seen before. Undersoil heating, yes. 25,375 is the capacity, and it is in Hemel Hempstead. So, bar maybe taking a year longer than we would have liked to build. That's pretty exceptional. 20 million has been secured up front. 30 million loan we'll be able to get rid of in no time. That's really good news. Normally, do you not get the message here to say what the expansion potential would be? That's the only thing it's missing. Maybe we'll get that when it's built. But that is incredibly good news and good to see it starting straight away. So in 3 years, we will have a new stadium. And if we continue to progress incrementally, that might coincide with our first season in, say, the Europa Conference or the Europa League. And that would be a really special moment. So let's hope that comes to fruition. We're just going to skip ahead before we go to see what happens with the youth recruitment request and what happens with this new youth category rating one. Hopefully we'll get more good news on that front. But already, it's been a brilliant summer before the transfer window starts. Well, our first setback has followed the day after. Our youth recruitment network is fine for a club like ours, and we'd rather not change it right now. Well, board, I disagree with you. Let's see if we can compete for the best young players. Now, normally when I say I can't stress how important I believe this to be, they just say, okay. This time, they've said with all due respect, it's not going to change anything. I wonder if, because of the youth level and the stadium, they're now out of money and are trying to be a bit more cautious. I hope that doesn't reflect on the transfer window too. I'm going to say we'll be left behind by our rivals. He's agreed to it. Clearly it's an issue that's close to your heart and your continued devotion is impressive. We're going to give you what you're asking for. That means the youth recruitment is up from good to excellent. Youth intakes, beware. They're going to be very special and they're going to have state-of-the-art facilities in the first team next year. What we need to see now is if the youth level is going to increase again, but it's not a big deal at the moment. One more request to get accepted, and then it could be declared the perfect episode. Well, maybe it won't be, because the youth level increase has been rejected. It is the second one being requested in a year. I think they did the last one of their own accord, though. They think the academy operates at a level sufficient to develop good players. Strive for the best. What can we do? We'd like the club to consider pushing it. I consider this really important. If this isn't requested, we're going to be left behind by our rivals. I've gone one too far. He's not willing to accept it. Let's just try. Last little swing. After all I've done for this club, you can at least do this for me. No, we appreciate what you've done. The fans want the same? Okay, I'm pushing it now. I'm very disappointed, but I respect the decision you've made. But I think on the balance this summer, we've not done too badly, have we? New stadium, youth level increase from 4 to 3, youth recruitment getting improved, state-of-the-art facilities on the way, and loads of young wonderful players with a 55 million budget to improve it. I don't think we could ask for a lot more. I think it's fair to say that the board have done their bit. The stuff off the pitch is improving massively. Now it's our job to get to work on recruitment. Can we increase the staffing again? Can we get better players in? Fullback's definitely the priority, a partner for Ricker up front, and maybe just one more gem to add to the midfield. 4 players I'm looking for, we'll see how many we get. If you did enjoy this episode, a big end of season review, massive news across the board for Hemel Hempstead Town, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. Let me know in the comments what you think of the stadium news and all the other stuff off the pitch. I feel like I should be pretty grateful at the minute because this new board is doing an awful lot to help us out. It's been a big few days in the head coach with a transfer special and deadline day in the last 2 episodes. I'll put the link to the new season in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular content. Please do check us out on those, particularly with the playoffs coming in the EFL soon. There's going to be lots on that podcast channel over April and May. Review the 92 will be back soon as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But above my head now, the latest season of the head coach. I hope you enjoy that in the meantime. And I'll see you here on Friday for a summer transfer special.